everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to give you an introduction of cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is a general term used to describe a new class of network-based computing that takes place over the internet. Basically, a step on from utility computing, a collection group of integrated and networked hardware, software, and internet infrastructure called a platform. Using the internet for communication and transport provides hardware, software, and networking services to clients. These platforms hide the complexity and details of the underlying infrastructure from users and applications by providing very simple graphical interface or API, applications programming interface. In a summarized manner, we can say that cloud computing is an umbrella term used to refer to internet-based development and services. A number of characteristics define cloud data, application services, and infrastructure. Remotely host. Services or data are hosted on remote infrastructure. Ubiquitous. Services or data are available from anywhere. Commodified. The result is a utility computing model similar to traditional that of tradition utilities like gas and electricity. You pay for what you want. Service value nets. Platform as a service. Infrastructure as a service. What is cloud computing? It consists of computer network, servers, storage, database, applications, and services. Shared pool of configurable computing resources, on-demand network access, provisioned by the service provider. Characteristics of cloud computing. The common characteristics are massive scale, homogeneity, virtualization, low-cost software, resilient computing, geographic distribution, service orientation, advanced security. Now, essential characteristics. On-demand self-service, broad network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, measured service.
Cloud computing is all the hype right now. But what does it really mean? Do you have to be sitting on a mountain with a computer among the clouds? Or on a plane with a laptop? Does it work when it's sunny? Can you actually type on a cloud computing keyboard? Cloud computing is pretty big, and it's growing bigger every day. There are basically 3 layers to cloud computing. Companies use them differently based on what they offer. At the bottom is the foundation, the infrastructure. This is where things start and where people begin to build. This is the layer where cloud hosting lives. So let's talk about hosting in the cloud, which is an older concept that, due to technology advances, is finally starting to work really well. Let's say you are a company and you have a website. And the website has a lot of short conversations that are exchanged between members. You start with a few users talking to each other, and they start telling their friends about your site. And they tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends, and so on. You are successful. But with success can come problems. Your equipment just can't keep up with the demand. Your service slows down, and suddenly you are in trouble. A few years ago, you would have put your website on a computer or server somewhere. And when your success kicked in, you had to run around and buy or rent new servers, set them up, or have someone set them up for you. Hundreds of thousands of companies do this now. It costs a lot of money and it takes lots of time. This is called hosting. It takes time to set them up, and they cost quite a bit of money to keep running all the time. You pay for these servers when you are using them, and you pay for them when you are not using them. You really just want to build your service and improve your product. But instead of success, your customers are getting angry. and your successful business is shrinking away. Now you have a better option: cloud computing. With cloud computing, you have access to computing power instantly when you need it. Put your website on a cloud server just like you would put it on a dedicated server. And when people start visiting your site, if you suddenly need more computing power dedicated to your website, you can scale up as much as you need almost instantly. You get your computing power as you need it from the cloud, on demand, and your customers stay happy without noticing any difference. And if your traffic dips back down, you can release your servers back into the cloud just as easily. This is a major advantage, so I'll say it again. When you need more computing power, you can get it instantly from the cloud. And when you're done with it, you release it back to the cloud. Billing is easy too. It works the same way you pay for gas or electricity. When you turn on a light, the meter starts running and you are billed for the electrical power that you take from the power grid. And when you're done with the light, you turn it off and the meter stops running. Or you can think of it like getting a taxi. The meter runs when you ride, it runs much slower when you stop, and when you're done with your ride, you get out and you pay your fare. Why buy the whole taxi when you can just pay for the trip? But wait, how do you actually work with the cloud? You can't physically touch your hardware. Easy! Using your own personal computer. You remotely access your cloud server and control it. You can put whatever you need on it, website or software or code, whatever, and then just disconnect it when you are done. You never actually touch it physically. The key with cloud computing is not to focus on the hardware. You just focus on your website, or your software or code or whatever it is you're doing. Think of it like you would any cloud service. Do you really care where, on what physical server your email is hosted? Isn't it vastly more important how the service works and that it's reliable and stable and easy to use? Here are 3 reasons why cloud hosting is becoming so popular. 1. Scalability. It's easy to grow or shrink to match your demand. If you need 1, 2, or 10 servers, with cloud hosting you can easily grow or shrink the number based on what you need right now. 2. Cloud hosting is instant. The computing power is there when you need it. You just turn it on. Whatever you need is instantly available in the cloud. And when your need goes down, you can simply turn them off. 3. Save money. You only pay for what you use and not for having equipment sit around just in case you might need it. With cloud hosting, you can stop worrying about your hardware. You can work on building your business instead. Using cloud hosting will save you time and money, and it's there for you to use instantly. So dump those old servers and head to the clouds.
Is the purpose and benefits. Cloud computing enables companies and applications which are system infrastructure dependent to be infrastructureless. By using the cloud infrastructure on pay-as-used and on demand, all of us can save in capital and operational investment. Clients can put their data on the platform instead of on their own desktop PCs and or on their own servers. They can put their applications on the cloud and use the servers within the cloud to do processing and data manipulations, etc. Some commercial cloud offerings: Amazon Web Services, GoGrid Beta, PowerOfNetwork.com, 3Tera, Moso, Beehive, EngineYard, Joint, Verio, etc. Cloud storage. Several large web companies are now exploiting the fact that they have data storage capacity that can be hired out to others. Lost data stored remotely to be temporarily cached on desktop computers, mobile phones, or other internet-linked devices. Amazon's Elastic Compute Module Cloud EC2 and Simple Storage Solution S3 are well-known examples. Mechanical Trunk. Amazon Simple Storage Service S3. It has unlimited storage. Pay for what you use. $0.20 per gigabyte of data transferred. $0.15 per gigabyte month for storage used. Second life update. 1 terabytes 40,000 downloads in 24 hours, $200. Opportunities and challenges. The use of the cloud provides a number of opportunities. It enables services to be used without any understanding of their infrastructure. Cloud computing works using economies of scale. It potentially lowers the outlay expense for startup companies as they would no longer need to buy their own software or servers. Cost would be by on-demand pricing. Vendors and service providers claim costs by establishing an ongoing revenue stream. Data and services are stored remotely but accessible from anywhere. Advantages of cloud computing. Lower computer cost. You do not need a high-powered and high-priced computer to run cloud computing web-based applications. Since applications run in the cloud, not on the desktop PC, the desktop PC does not need the processing power or hard disk space demanded by traditional desktop softwares. When you are using web-based applications, your PC can be less expensive with smaller hard disk, less memory, more efficient processor. In fact, your PC in this scenario does not even need a CD or DVD drive, as no software programs have to be loaded and no document files need to. Improved performance. With few large programs hogging your computer's memory, you will see better performance from your PC. Computers in a cloud computing system boot and run faster because they have fewer programs and processes loaded into memory. Reduced software costs. Instead of purchasing expensive software applications, you can get most of what you need for free. Most cloud computing applications today, such as the Google Docs suite, better than paying for similar commercial software, which alone may be justification for switching to cloud. Some disadvantages of cloud computing. It requires a constant internet connection. Cloud computing is impossible if you cannot connect to the internet. Since you use the internet to connect to both your applications and documents, if you do not have an internet connection, you cannot access anything, even your own documents. A dead internet connection means no work, and in areas where internet connections are few or inherently unreliable, this could be a deal. It does not work well with low-speed connections. Similarly, a low-speed internet connection such as that found with dial-up services makes cloud computing painful at best and often impossible. Web-based applications require a lot of bandwidth to download, as so do large documents. Features might be limited. This situation is bounded to change, but today many web-based applications simply are not as full-featured as their desktop-based applications. For example, you can do a lot more with Microsoft PowerPoint than with Google Presentations web-based software. Future of cloud computing. Many of the activities loosely grouped together under cloud computing have already been happening, and centralized computing activity is not a new phenomenon. Grid computing was the last research-led centralized approach. However, there are concerns that the mainstream adoption of cloud computing could cause many problems for users. Many new open source systems appearing that you can install and run on your local cluster should be able to run a variety of applications on these systems.